Good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, episode 54. Episode 54. I'm Charles McKay, host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, where connections matter, bringing you interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. I want to thank you, those who are watching us live. We're live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube. So we want to thank you for those who are watching us live on this podcast. Every week, I'm bringing you interviews of difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. Do me a favor, if you're watching live, I want to encourage you to share this with friends and family, associates. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on LinkedIn, like and share. I appreciate that because we got an interesting topic tonight. We're going to talk about, we have a special guest. We're going to talk about ways where you can build your own business credit. This is different from personal credit. This is business credit. If you are a new entrepreneur looking to raise capital, money for your business, maybe to buy equipment, maybe you're into real estate investing and you are into fixing and flipping houses, or maybe you want to fix up a home for Airbnb, maybe you're in a t-shirt business or hat business or whatever. You make shea butters or lipsticks or whatever type of thing. You need a little bit of capital to buy product that you'll then flip and sell. Well, I'm excited because we have a special guest who's going to talk about from her own personal story how she built credit and how she used business credit to launch some of the businesses that she was in. So um, she's going to join us shortly. So like and subscribe if you're watching. So, want to before we go into that, just real quick, want to thank those who donated to our school supply drive. Um, I want to thank those who donated to our school supply drive. We supported a local first grade class in Northwest Detroit at the Detroit Service Leadership Academy on Lasher and 7 Mile Road. And want to thank you though for those who donated. School supplies, folders, pencils, glue stick, construction paper. And so my gratitude and thank you for that. Hopefully we'll do that again next year in the month of September and October. And also want to thank you for those who came out to our um our networking, our fall networking that we had, fall networking meetup that was held it was held in October. It was held in October, and our guest was there sharing a presentation. So we had to bring her back on the podcast. So let me give a quick introduction of our next guest. Um, so our topic is going to be about how to build business credit from 0 to 50,000. And so our next guest is a certified educator and founder of the business Hosea 46 LLC. Her business is a certified minority business enterprise and a women business enterprise, certified through the state of Michigan. And she also helps, uh, in particular, marginalized folks and women and show them how to build credit, how to start a business, and how to create happier, financial, independent lives. She's also an author, an educator, and creator of the Andrea Empower Academies, which is an online platform where she shows people step by step how to transform their lives into a powerhouse, purpose driven, thriving business in just a few months. She has been a personal development coach for over a decade, and she worked with many companies such as Goodwill Industries, Central Michigan University, and the Coleman A. Young Foundation, as well as Neighborhood Legal Services and many other organizations. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I'm talking about, let us welcome to episode 54, Miss Andrea Thompson.
Hi, hello. For having me. Hello, hello.
Yes.
Friends, IG friends. Thanks for
Yes, yes, yes. So,
having me.
definitely thank you for being on this podcast. So, what we always like to do is we want you to kind of introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, whatever you're comfortable from.
Mhm.
If you're East Side, West Side, where you're from, who you with, all that good stuff. So, let's do that.
Well, Charles, again, thanks for having me. I really, really appreciate this opportunity. I am a Detroit native. My background has always been finance. I went to Davenport University, the Taylor campus, and I majored in business finance. I'm a former banker of 6 years, so I'm familiar with the underwriting, the small business loans, the personal loans, things of that nature, credit cards. And that was my introduction into credit. But I never connected myself with credit because my background being from like Joy Road in Livernois, West Side, Detroit, I just didn't see the connection with myself and having good credit like the clients that I served when I was a banker. But that was actually my introduction into the world of finances as a former banker. As you already introduced me as a certified financial educator, I have worked with many, many companies, including Neighborhood Legal Services, Detroit Public Schools, Southfield Public Schools, many, many others, churches, things like that, women's groups particularly. That's my background, is being able to empower women for economic freedom, economic development,
Okay,
particularly
awesome.
in the Metro Detroit area.
That is awesome, awesome. So you were at our last fall networking meetup, and we did do a live interaction there, and we unfortunately wasn't able to maintain the footage, and we brought you here. I would like for you to share a little bit about your story. I think your story is very interesting. How you got into the business that you're in now.
Hmm. Where should I begin, Charles? Let's see. Well, as you all may know me as, especially particularly my Facebook following, know me as the speaker in the school systems, particularly talking to girls. So about 13 years ago, I started my first company, and I would do workshops for the inner city young teens, and that's how I was contracted through the state of Michigan for a female responsibility program. So I would go into the schools and talk to teenagers for preventative services so they wouldn't become a teen mom. I had my daughter in the 10th grade, and it was like a rug being pulled from up under my feet, right? Nobody could prepare me for the journey that laid ahead for me, particularly from the environment that I'm from. It was just almost like destined that not only myself, but my daughter was going to be poor, right? She was going to have to fight the battle of poverty and things of that nature. So,
Yes.
my desire was to shine a light or turn a light on for other teenage girls before that time happened, right? So, that's how it all started for me. Was talking to the girls in the school. And as my awareness, my financial education grew, how it transformed my own life, even as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I was like, okay, I have to tell their parents, their moms about this, because that poverty piece can take you, grab you, and keep you there, right? And it's from what I coined my business as Hosea 46 LLC. It means for the lack of knowledge, my people perish. I
Okay.
firmly believe, not only from personal experience, that the things we don't know keeps us in suffering, keeps us without having the other opportunities, other cultures, other neighborhoods are you know they're able to grab hold to certain resources that we don't, because we don't know they exist. We don't know how to get them. We don't know the ease in which we can take advantage of certain opportunities. So my whole mission was to light up the darkness, to share information. So that's how it all started.
All right. All right. So that's a powerful story. You're a teen mom, and your whole thing was that you didn't want to raise her and have a cycle of poverty
Hmm.
with your daughter, and you wanted to find a way to empower yourself,
Absolutely.
and so you went through the path of financial literacy. Just want to shout out to there's a guest that made a comment. Jeffrey Edwards. Oh, send the comment. So So yeah, shout out to Jeffrey Edwards. Thank you for watching the podcast. All right, so what was in particular your journey in just getting into the credit and the financial literacy? What was some of the things that you do? Did you have a mentor, or you just read books, or you was just how did that all start?
I've always read a lot of books, particularly Robert Kiyosaki, who talked about using debt to invest in real estate. To that was his way into investing in real estate, was debt, leveraging debt.
Right.
And people use debt in such a negative way.
Hmm.
But when you know how to use other people's money, the bank's money, to purchase
Yeah.
income producing assets, it's it's a freeing tool, is what I like to call it. It's the opposite of what some lenders, banks, and society want to pretend like debt is so bad. No, not when you're using it to produce income,
Right.
uh, income producing assets.
Right.
So that was my introduction into the leveraging credit to purchase real estate, things like that. So what Robert Kiyosaki's books did for me was they um, created an idea, right? It
Right.
started a possibility for me that, okay, I can actually do something like this. But going forward, I didn't gravitate to it. It was just like now a seed. But I did have
Okay.
a mentor. I actually purchased a business, an investment course from someone who became my mentor. But their way into real estate was via wholesaling.
Right.
So
Wholesaling. Okay.
they had bad credit. And I'm gonna tell you this short story. My mentor to this day has bad credit. So this is not a rumor. He talks about it. But he went in through wholesaling. He saved some money wholesaling homes, and then he eventually bought his own. And he teaches from that perspective. So when
Right.
I took his class, I'm listening, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do wholesaling, and I don't have $20,000 laying around. I
Right.
can't be in that way. So, but what I do have, and I've known this through books I've read, um, banks want to know if you have one of the three C's. It's actually cash flow, meaning a cash flow business that you're earning at least $10,000 a month, which at the time I didn't have. They want to know if you have collateral, like a building, assets, things that they can put a lien on to give you this money to ensure that if they give you $50,000, they can, have a building to secure this asset. I didn't have that. The third one was credit. So
Okay.
that you have good personal credit, 700 or above is that magic number,
Yes.
and and good business credit, which only takes 3 to 4 months to from start to getting there to have excellent business credit. And most people don't know that. So I said, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I don't have the cash flow yet? I don't have a $10,000 a month earning business at the time. I didn't have collateral, but I do have good credit,
Right.
right? And I knew that if I could have good credit, I could
Hmm.
gain, right? Just
Right.
off of telling these banks, I am good with money. You will get your money back. And so it started from that. That information alone led me down that rabbit hole of, okay, I can actually attain this now, right? It's actually possible for me. I can get in the game with just that simple tool. So that was like my eye-opening entryway.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from there is when I started building my business credit for the sake of using it to invest.
All right, so I just kind of recap if I'm hearing you right. So you start as of course as a teen mom.
Mhm.
Your focus was on you didn't want to have a life of poverty,
Right.
and you wanted to raise your daughter in such a way that you guys are healthy and wealthy and
Yes.
have opportunity. And so
Mhm.
you have an interest in real estate. So that was one of your ways. But
Yes.
then you found that, hey, I don't have money sitting around.
Hmm.
I don't have any real assets at this point, and so
Hmm.
you began to dial down and focus on leveraging your credit to
Yeah.
build business credit to use that money to go into your business. Is that fair to say?
That's exactly the way I did it.
Okay, all right.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's been a game changer ever since. The things I've
Mhm.
learned along the way, the ease of how these banks will give you money when you know how to manage your money, when you know how to manage your credit, they will give
Okay,
you so much more without bank statements, without tax returns, without um,
okay,
cash flow, even if it's a brand new business. So I knew that, oh my gosh, this is all duplicatable, right? I
right.
knew have something I can add in to teach my women back in Detroit, my young
Okay.
girls back in Detroit. If they know they can, start to build their credit, get their LLC, build business credit with that, they can get in the game too, right?
All
And
right.
it doesn't have to be income producing at that time. It doesn't have to be a $10,000 a month business.
Right. Right.
Two things: your good personal credit and starting to build your business credit from inception to 3 to 4 months, and you're in the game.
Right.
It's it was so duplicatable where it was like I couldn't sit on that information. I had to
Right.
incorporate that into what I teach my young
Right. So
folks.
what you teach, you've lived out and practiced on your own self personally and in your business.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always
Okay.
first person, and not only that, my daughters is my first teacher. I always teach my daughters, like both
Right.
my,
That's awesome.
not my oldest, she's not there, she likes to swipe, but my youngest is my first student, and she
Right.
goes all our real estate properties. Anytime we're at the bank, she's there. And I
Right.
post on social media so people can see, like,
Right.
my 15-year-old managing her money, my 15-year-old learning how to
Right.
spread on with me on real estate deals. So
Okay. That's awesome.
yeah.
I want to go into some specifics if you don't mind.
I don't know.
And kind of give paint a picture of where people can start. So
Mhm.
let's say they person worked on their because we're not really here to talk about personal credit. So they work on their personal credit, they got it good. It's above 600, maybe above 700.
Mhm.
What are some as they're starting a business? What are some foundational things they need to put in place before they get started
For their business credit.
for their business credit? Like, what are some things you got to have? Like, do they need an email, website, a LLC, a
Mhm.
DUNS number? What are some of the things?
Okay. So the first thing they're going to want to do is start their LLC. I don't know. I wouldn't suggest a sole proprietorship, and some sole
Okay.
can be LLCs. A lot of sole proprietorships can, and people automatically think of sole proprietorship in state of Michigan. I would say emphasize state of Michigan because every state law is different. But here in state of Michigan, a sole proprietor can be also an LLC. You don't have to be a DBA and use your own social security number or doing business as, which is like, you know, um, Bob's carpet cleaner place, and Bob is working up under his own name and own social security number. First thing you want to do is separate you from your business, which is really, really important. Second thing is your business having its own separate entity. Everything in the business has to be separate from you, meaning your address, your phone number. You have to use a physical phone number, physical address. You have to get a website. You have to get an email address that's directly connected to your website. Those are some of the basic things that the
Okay.
writers and vendors are looking for to finance you without having to see tax returns, bank statements, uh,
Okay.
things of that nature.
All right. So first, to have you recommend to have a different address than their home address
Oh, absolutely.
before they file the LLC. So
Yeah.
I can share from personal experience. I when I did my LLC, even for this business, Empower You Ventures,
Mm,
I went with a post office box with UPS,
hmm
and the address does say suite number, but
hmm
I did run into some problems when you put the business address in certain companies. I guess the underwriters would you would say,
hmm
and then it would come up as a PO box, and they wouldn't have, they said that address is not acceptable. And
hmm
so I'm in the process of going to a virtual office
hmm
that is tied to a physical building. Have you
Absolutely.
seen in some of your dealings and helping people that they ran into that snag? They had to use their personal address or had a post office box and they ran into problems.
Absolutely. That's most people, majority. I'm either doing helping people clean it up and do it the right way because they've first of all, they've by taking the initiative, the fact that they've registered a business is huge. So that's you can never do it the wrong way. It's just now like, okay, let's come on in and let's make some small changes. So that's what you did with with Detroit Metro Plug.
Yeah, well, it's under Empower You Ventures.
How
Detroit
are you
Metro Plug is the podcast. Yeah.
is the podcast.
Hmm.
So just making those small changes is like, okay,
Right.
well, um, let's get the right address. So most people, I would say 9 out of 10 who I work with, we're either doing a brand new business or
Right.
they started their business and now we have to do those changes because most people don't know that you definitely need to separate it from your home address or PO box or a UPS address or even a Staples address. So
Right.
have brick and mortar office building. And one of the I'm gonna give you a small tip here, and I know Charles, you and I talked about this, but is Googling the address before you proceed to say, okay, this is going to be my business address, because you want this to carry you throughout your lending process. This address
Right.
is going to be consistent on all your documents. You want to Google that address to see what it looks like, to make sure it's an actual office address, to see if it's operational. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter where it is, as long as it's operational, and it is in fact a business address. It can't be connected to a UPS or Staples.
Right, 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 right.
That's
So
the
I've chose the I postal one,
yes.
and then I made sure that it was an actual, and I knew the building
Mm-hmm.
that I can have a virtual office and
Yeah.
use that office and that address. And I
Mm-hmm.
even took a step further to have a phone number separate from my personal phone,
Mm-hmm.
that you can have an option to have a professional voicemail so that when underwriters call,
Mm-hmm.
they actually have a business number, and because I ran into issues with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, Charles, and that's awesome that you did that, because when when these lenders deny you, not you, when
Right.
people deny for lending, oftentimes they're thinking it's something personal about themselves. Okay, I didn't know the banker. I got to know somebody. I got to go in there and you don't have to do any of that. These underwriters are trained to check off boxes. That's it.
Right.
And if something is out of place, it's a denial and they go on to the next application. So when they deny you, they don't have to tell you why they denied you. By law, they have to provide you with a copy of your credit report that they use to analyze this deal if you request it. But they don't have to tell you why they denied. They don't have to say the reason we denied you was because your email address didn't match the email address on your website. Literally,
Okay.
something that simple can get you denied, but most people don't know. And what it does is it discourages people from getting this money, right? That
Right.
could
Right.
their financial future. That can be the key to, getting them to the next level they need to be. But it's something just that small, those small little changes that can be made, such as, you changing your address can make a world of difference
Okay.
when lending process.
All right. So definitely, okay. So the part of the foundation is make sure you have a virtual address to
Hmm.
a tied to a brick and mortar. Make
Yes.
sure that address is on your LLC paperwork, your bank accounts,
Hmm.
everything lines up. Make sure you have at least an email address. And now, why is it important to have a website as opposed to? Can you have a landing page, or what? Why do you need a website?
Well, the website is just going to give you credibility. There's a three-phase process I like to use in this phase, and that credibility piece is like it's the middle section. That's your torso of your person, and it keeps everything together. The head is the lending part, the torso is the credibility, the foundation is the feet. And neither one of these sections is more important than the other. And that's something we have to realize, that credibility piece in the middle, that uh, address, that email, it just
Right.
gives you credibility as a business to say, I am a real business.
Right.
I, serve my customers, provide education, all those things a credible business would
Okay.
do.
Okay.
And I'll always tell people a one-page website, that's all you need. Just one
One
page.
page website,
Yep. Who you are,
address. Okay.
your
Okay.
address, phone number, email
And
address.
email. Now you recommend, because I have two emails, of course. I have email tied to my website that says hello at Detroit Metro Plug,
Mhm.
but I also have a Gmail. Does having a Gmail account, would that cause snags in the when you're building your credit?
That's automatic denial.
Okay.
Automatic denial
So
and
it has
under.
to be like hello at your website.org or .com or something like that.
Yes. And I'm
See, I
glad
didn't know that. So if you put a Gmail account, that's an automatic denial.
you can have everything else right, but hello at Gmail or automatic denial. And you're like, wait a minute, but I did everything else. Automatic denial.
All right.
You
So you got to have a business email,
business email that
a
matches your
physical address linked to, if you opt to have like a phone number for your business separate. Okay. So now, here's what I want to do. There's a couple of modern chain organizations. You have your Duns and Bradstreet, then you
mhm,
have your NAV.
mhm,
What I'll share personally. I ran into some problems getting my Duns and Bradstreet number
mhm,
because two, it was the post office address,
mhm,
and the number. I was using a free number through Google Voice, which
mhm,
is, when you're an upstart, you're just trying to grab resources.
mhm,
But if it doesn't sound professional.
mm,
It's a free phone for my business,
Mhm.
But because they didn't leave voicemail or whatever they was trying to verify, I didn't get the call, and then
Mhm.
it can be denied. So it'd be little snags like that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. The thing with Dun and Bradstreet, you can contact them to, you know, to try to get some things clear so you can get your DUNS
Mhm.
number because that's really, really important in the um, building business credit phase is get your DUNS, it's free. But DUNS will do their own verification process, right? They want to
Right.
make sure you got your NAICA code and your SIC code before you get
Mhm.
to the part where you're reaching out to DUNS. You have to have those things in place. One small piece here is that before you get to the DUNS number, because that's right before you get to the head part, which is the financing phase. You want to have everything else in place because all that information again is building on one another. So that DUNS should be almost one of those last steps you take before you start
Okay.
working on lending, because all of that's going to carry you. It's going to carry you into the lending process. So having that everything set up correctly before you get there is imperative. When you get to
Right.
DUNS, always make some changes and stuff, but after that, it's pretty much it's going to be difficult. It's going to,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, some people go, what is it called? Nav. That's another mod is that they have a free version, a paid version. So
Yes.
you recommend Nav before you reach out to Duns?
No, no, I recommend Duns first.
Duns first, then Nav. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Be-
about okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to make people aware, those that don't know what NAV is. NAV is like your personal TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So NAV houses your credit report, your business credit report for you, and it gives you an update of what it looks like. It gives you your
Okay.
scoring. So yes, and then
Oh,
also paid
the
account.
Nav is for personal. Now, I thought it was a part of your business as well.
It is. It's
Okay.
for your business, although it will look at your personal account for you. But I was saying NAV is how people look at their personal credit. NAV is how you look at your business credit.
Oh,
So
okay. Got you. I got you.
it's like Credit Karma for your
Right.
business.
It's like Credit Karma for your business. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, it's like Credit Karma for your
Credit
business.
Karma. Nav is like Credit Karma for your business. Great.
Hmm.
Um, what step in the process do you get what they call the net 30 or net 40 accounts where um you can get things and pay them off in 30 days and it reports to
Hmm.
the three credit bureaus?
You want to do that at the foundation, the funding phase. That's going to be like the last section
Okay.
after you've
Hmm.
done the foundation, the credibility part.
Hmm.
You start going into your vendors. Now, keep in mind that if you decide to do it zero to, getting business credit 0 to 50K in the matter of only a few months after starting your business, you don't have to have a lot of these,
Oh, really?
right? Now, most people will say, get 5 of these accounts, 5 of those accounts, get Quill, get no, we
Right,
don't.
right, right.
We really focus on accounts that we're going to use because nobody want to be spending money on things they don't need.
Right, right. Okay.
When you're building it, being able to use your personal credit as collateral, because that's really what you're
That's what
doing.
you're doing. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what you're doing. And now just so people understand what that is just you're just saying, hey, if I don't pay you, um, did you lose me? We're
Yeah,
still
you're
there.
back. It went out for a second.
Oh, sorry about that. It's just saying that if I don't pay you this $50,000 back, or if my business defaults on this $50,000 back, I will be responsible. So
Right.
with that in mind, you don't have to go and get 25 of these small vendor accounts. You really
Okay.
only need just a few key accounts
Two,
to
two,
move
three,
into.
three. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
you don't need a lot like
You
you
don't need a
would if
lot.
you weren't using your personal credit as collateral.
Right. So what you teach, would that help people? I don't know. For some reason, the most popular business card is the Amex card, American Express.
Hmm.
These are the things that they look at. This the infrastructure you talked about to get approved for a Amex card.
Business Amex, right?
Right, business Amex, yeah, or business American Express.
Oh yeah. See, so here's a misconception with the Amex, and I have 4 corporate American Express accounts, including the Cabbage line of credit through American
Right.
Express that I use for investing in real estate. See, the misconception is that if you have good credit, you can go in and get a business American Express card without
Right.
any prior um,
Yes.
vendors, like you
That's
said,
what
the
the
net
streets
30s.
tell us.
And I'll tell you, don't, hey, I can tell you how many people get denied just because that, okay, I have good credit, let me go. No, they're still going to want to see, because they're financing the business, they're giving this
Right.
money to the business. And I want people to understand how important that is, that when you're a brand new business, you have nothing reported, nothing matching up,
Right.
um no credibility phase. You want to zoom past that and go get the American Express because you have a 700 credit score. Well, they're going to deny you, because they're financing the business. Keep that in mind. If they're giving this money to the business, you're the owner. You can do what you want with it, but it's the business's money.
Right.
So
Okay.
they're still looking at what the business has currently did, who is currently lended to them. Have you done business at all? So the business
Right.
is separate from you. That's why it has its own social security number, own address.
Right.
That still
You just
matters.
said something important. So you file your LLC. You make sure you have your EIN number. You make sure you have a separate address tied to a brick and mortar, the
Absolutely.
website, the
Mhm.
email. Now, after you have all that, what's the first thing you do? You say you don't get a net 30 account, but
Mhm.
what are some of the things you do to get the
Well,
creditors to monitor your business?
well, you do definitely want to get a net 30. You just don't have to go and get 25 of them or
Oh,
30 of
20,
them.
right. Just get a
Most people
few.
think you
Okay.
do. Most people think I got to
Right.
get five of
I've
those, 10
seen like
of
net
those.
30 accounts for office supplies, stuff that you
Yeah, obviously,
right.
but I like to use gas cards.
Okay.
Particularly
Yeah,
Pilot
that's
Flying
possible.
J is a nice one that um, will give brand new businesses a card. Chevron Texaco, which is a great one, you can
What
use
was the
that.
first one you said? I'm writing that down. What was
Oh,
the first one?
Pilot Flying J.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're off of a lot of major expressways. They're new. They're a great gas card that you can use as a brand new business, so you don't have to have any prior accounts.
Oh, okay.
Get a pilot flange.
And
Chevron.
they report to all the agencies?
Now I can't say they report to all. They may
Okay.
report to one, which is okay. That's okay
Right, right, right.
because all of your numbers doesn't have to be built simultaneously like they would on a personal credit. Personal
Right,
credit,
right.
we want to build evenly. Business credit, not necessarily, because it just depends on the account where they report. So
Okay.
long as they report, they're good.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Chevron Texaco is another great gas card,
Hmm.
but they will want to do a soft pull on your personal credit, which is okay. If it's
Okay.
not going to be a hard pull, it's okay. Keep in
Mhm.
mind, listeners, you do not have to be afraid that these lenders or vendors want to do a soft pull on your credit. As long as it won't do a
Okay.
hard pull and leave an inquiry, it's okay. Let them do a soft pull and get you that account, because you need
Uh,
that account.
Yeah, I like the fact that you mentioned the gas card because that's something you're going to use
Oh
because we
yeah.
got to get gas and just pay it off and build
Oh
credit.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, so um why go this build your credit route as opposed to getting funding other ways for your real estate?
Well, um, control. You know, there was a big thing about PPP loans, and they had to. This is just an example. They had to, Biden changed some things just so the, black business owners would be able to get it and wait. We're gonna wait 5 days and let the black business owners get it because everybody else is taking them. There was so much favoritism. Okay, we're gonna grab all these people in, and
Mm.
then
Yeah.
the difference between grants and anything coming from the government and business credit, which is my favorite, is about credit is the only tool I've seen that doesn't look at your color, your race, your sex, your background. They don't care. They care about numbers. And if I can produce the numbers that you want to see for you to give me the lending I need to use
Mhm.
to change my financial trajectory, it's about control. It's about control. I'll take those odds any day over, somebody favoring me or pulling my name out of a hat. I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just about control.
Right.
And
Okay.
credit doesn't look at your color. None of that.
Right.
I've never once walked into a bank to get any of my lending ever. It's always been done online. And my picture is not on my website, my company websites, on purpose. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know if it means anything, but again, everything I teach has to be
Wow.
duplicatable,
Wow.
you know?
Wow. Now, I remember at the networking event, you shared how you use the business credit in your real estate investing. Share a little bit about that.
Hmm. So the only the way I teach it, the way I build it, the way I would love for others to do it is so that the lending that I receive is all lines of credit. I don't go after loans because that's the timeline on that, and fixed payments. Loans are always fixed payments, but a revolving line of credit is saying, hey, here's $50,000, no annual fee, it's yours forever. We're not going to dip into your bank account and take out payments. You'll have a one-time interest only payment, not a one-time, once a month interest only payment, only on what you use. And after you pay it back, it's yours just to use again. So for me, that's an easy way to get into real estate without having to tie yourself down to owing a lot of money, which
Of
means
mortgages, right?
if I got like my first real estate property, we put 65,000 into, bought the house for 30, put about 25, 30,000 in rehab, and it's right now pending offer at 119,
Right.
right?
That's
So
awesome.
I use not only 65,000 of the bank's revolving lines of credit, I even
Hmm.
took out an additional 10 to pay them back monthly with their
Right.
own money.
With their own money. Right.
Right, until this house sells. Now, the house we've had it for 6 months. It's been an ongoing 6 month process, but right now we're at the tail end of it. The buyers is done, the offers pending that we're standing to gain almost double. The
Right. Right.
selling at 119, we're standing to gain about double, and I haven't used any of my own money. Now with
Right.
the loan, if I would have
The
had
mortgage loan. Right.
yeah, I would have had to be responsible for interest and principal payments, which means I'm paying
Right.
them back. They want to see that number come down in 6 months. I'm just paying interest, low interest payments at that, because again, my credit is good. My
Right.
business credit is good. So I can't beat 7% interest only payments
Right.
on
Right.
65, $75,000,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
It's a
Yeah.
win.
I think I mean, I know there's different schools of thoughts. There's like,
Hmm.
people in certain camps where all credit is bad, and
Hmm.
then there's people who, all credit is good.
Hmm.
But in my experience, I mean, I'm just being real. I don't have a rich uncle or a rich father. I didn't know no inheritance was left to me. So I got to scrap and find a way. And to me, I think this way of building my own personal credit, leveraging that to build business credit is a game changer to
Hmm.
me to invest in real estate or business or buy property or
Hmm.
buy materials or things that I'm going to flip, whether it's a merch business or whatever.
Hmm.
And so I think this is a game changer, understanding the rules and
Hmm.
understanding the game and feed them the information they need to position yourself.
That's it.
Yeah. And
That's
you have and now I wanted to clarify, is there a difference between having a business credit card and a line of credit? Are they the same or what's the difference?
it works sort of the same, but lines of credit you can pull off cash. Now in the real estate game, or any whatever you decide to use it for, you can liquidate that credit card um, for a 3.5% fee, and it's totally legal. This is
Right.
not secret, or you can liquidate this credit card, right? So for 3.5% of a $20,000 credit card that you it's a they have a 12-month promo of 0% interest for 12 months, right?
Mhm.
So if I can liquidate a $20,000 credit card for 3.5% fee, which is, if my memory served me correctly, it's about $635, maybe $735 fee, is what we paid to liquidate this $20,000 credit card. Now, I'm paying them $635 to liquidate this $20,000 credit card. I can use this $20,000 credit card to put towards my rehab costs. I'm not paying any interest on this $20,000 for 12 months because
Right.
it's a promo card. Again, when you have good credit, these banks want to give you these things, these added benefits that people don't know that we can leverage, right?
Right.
So
Right.
from the time I liquidated it 6 months ago to the time that the house sells, I still got another 6 months before they want they're going to start charging me interest for it. But by then I've
Right.
sold the house, right? So
Right.
I
Right.
don't have any interest. I just paid the company 3.5% of that 20,000 to liquidate it, which was
Right.
$635.
So you teach your students they can with their tools to build this credit. Do they have several different cards of 50,000 or 20,000 here, 30,000? How does that normally work?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely gonna do some stacking, right?
You're gonna do okay.
Yeah,
Credit stacking.
yeah, credit card stacking. So
Credit card stacking. Okay.
yep. So as a brand new business, you can still get these cards. Some may be 20,000, some may be 25,000, but it's credit card stacking. And I teach my students how to do this strategically and intentionally, right? So we go after certain cards this time, then okay, let's go after our second best this time. You know what I mean? But the way I teach it, the whole 50K from scratch, 0 to 50K, that's going to be a combination of your unsecured lines of credit, like I have. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Hmm.
Revolving. It's going to be a combination of your unsecured bonus, $20,000 credit cards for not paying interest for 12
Yeah.
months. How
Hmm.
much how much money can you make on 20,000 that you don't have to pay back? You don't have
Right.
to owe interest for, you know what I mean? You can with the right moves, you can make money on that $20,000 in 12
Okay.
months before it's due back.
All right. So we're gonna go. As we wrap things up, we're gonna go into how people can work with you. We're gonna take a quick break and then have a little video to show, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk specifically how people can work directly with you and some of the programs you offer. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey everyone, this is Charles with Detroit Metro Plug Podcast. If you are finding value in today's video, I invite you to subscribe, like, and comment. We would love to hear your feedback. And don't forget to click on that notification bell so you can be notified when we have upcoming episodes of difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. If you're interested in being a part of our Facebook networking community, I invite you to click on the link to be a part of that community. This is a place where you can network with like minded people and a chance to share about your product or service. If you're interested in working with me directly on how you can share your story with video or with podcasting, you can email me direct at DetroitMetroPlug313 at gmail.com. Thanks again, and let's get back to this interview.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with certified educator, Miss Andrea Thompson. She's been basically giving us a clinic, a mini masterclass on how you can leverage your personal credit to build your business credit, sharing some tips that you should know, and sharing just some things you should know to how you can leverage that to invest in your business, whether it's real estate, Airbnb, fix and flip. Maybe it's a t-shirt business, a hat business, a shea butter. Maybe you're selling cheesecakes. I don't know what it is, but you can, a lot of us may not have opportunities to get an SBA loan or a traditional loan, or maybe even a micro loan. But here, if you know the credit game, you can get that money. So I want to throw some air horns for the stuff you've been sharing so far. So there may be people watching who be like, man, this is kind of sophisticated, or I tried some of these things and these tips. It didn't work for me. How can people work directly with you, and how do you do your program, and how does that work?
I'm glad you asked, Charles. And since our previous podcast we had, I did an open invite for anybody to come and join. They can sign up at 50kfromscratch.com to pre-register for the next class, because the current class that I was doing our last podcast is now full. So I'm not taking any more new students in this particular training, because I give one-on-one coaching, right? Which means a lot of students who may be listening are new to business and need some direction, and you don't want to sit and just watch a course. I don't provide that. I'm an educator first, right? So I
Okay.
want you to know your options. I want you to understand the power of what this thing really is. So you work with me one-on-one, Zoom, just like kind of how we're doing this
Right.
podcast, can be one-on-one. So this particular class is closed for this group. It's actually full right now, but the next class will be starting very soon. So if anyone who's listening want to sign up to get pre-registered, just so you can know the information and know when it's starting, and come to the free masterclass so you can decide if 50K from Scratch program is for you. Make sure you go to 50kfromscratch.com so you can pre-register, or so you can be notified when the next class will be in session, which it should be coming soon. But again, the first class is now full.
Okay.
Yeah.
50K from scratch to pre-register for the next upcoming class. So, who is your ideal person for your program?
The ambitious dreamer, to be honest with you, that dreamer that most of my clients are parents, right? The person that is the breadwinner of the house, and they want to make it happen, and change the financial trajectory for themselves and their family. My ideal client is not someone who has a bunch of money and is trying to pay a bunch of money for coaching and education. They want to get one-on-one for a reasonable price that's fair, and they want the right direction. My ideal client is someone who's coachable, right?
Hmm.
Someone who's probably tried YouTube, doing it up by themselves, or even think that that business credit is scammy, or they've heard so much noise online, and they,
Right, right, right.
who's someone who wants to be educated with the right tools. So they definitely have to be coachable, and they probably try it on their own and seen that, okay, they need help. Because without the right direction, sometimes it can just save you a lot of time and money and frustration to have someone who's been in that seat, and who's ready to learn how to do it right. So that's my ideal client. In any market, though, any market, with the exception of those high risk markets like gambling, adult film
And you
stuff.
work with men and women.
Men and women.
Men and women. Okay,
Men,
so you share your idea. What can they expect to get out of the program for those who
oh,
sign up?
they can expect to definitely get their first 50K from scratch. So if you're a brand new business, if you haven't started your LLC, if you want to start it, or if you have already and just haven't started the business credit process, so if you started a little bit and just haven't gotten anywhere with it, haven't got any funding with it, them too, right? We would just make the
Okay.
change to make, and set them on the right path so they can get this money. But that would be my person. That's my person.
Yeah, now,
Mhm.
that happens within 3 months, 6 months, a year, or something
It
else?
typically is about 4 months.
Four
For
months.
the time I've seen it the soonest, right? If they're a brand new business, like, so I
Okay.
have to register their LLC. It doesn't matter which state you're in either, as long as
All
you're
right.
like
Doesn't matter
that
which
state.
state. Okay. Now, what happens if they're? I mean, I'm just being real. Just different scenarios. What if their personal credit is trash? Like it's 550, a little bit over 600,
Well,
according to Credit Karma.
they probably want to get signed up for my Journey to Credit class. That's the
Oh, so you
personal.
got a different program for that? Okay.
I do. It's also in that class is not ready yet, but they can sign up. They can go to journey2credit.com, and that's just spelled out
Journey to credit.
the credit. And they can also be notified when that starts. But that helps the entrepreneur, that helps the dreamer, that helps the aspiring entrepreneur to get their personal credit right so they can enter into the 50K from scratch. But 50K from scratch is particularly for those with at least a 680 or better. Or if
Okay.
they don't have any collections and late payments, their credit utilization is just high. That's what keeps them from going over 7. They're also a candidate. But if they do have issues like collections and previous late payments,
Right.
repos, they would not be a candidate for 50K from scratch, because I got to stand behind my
Right.
guarantee, and I can't guarantee they can get the lending if their credit is
Your
below.
screen went out for a minute.
The screen went out.
Yeah, I can hear your voice, but the screen went out.
Let me try something. Camera. I don't know why. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
You can't see me though. I don't know why. Let me tap the. That's weird. That better?
I can
I
hear
can
you,
hear
but
you, but
Really?
it's
That's really weird. I can see you, but
yeah,
yeah.
oh
for
wow.
some
For
reason
some
the
reason, the
screen went
screen
out.
went out.
I don't know. It says everyone can see and hear you. That's what it says. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Hold on, let
I
me
Hold on, let
try
me try
something.
something.
Nope, it
Nope, it
didn't.
didn't.
Well,
Well,
we were
we were
wrapping up
wrapping up
though.
though.
So,
So,
share your
share your
social
social
media
media
handles
handles
Mhm.
and
and
share
share
your
your
information how they
information how they
can
can
work
work
directly with
directly
you.
with you.
Okay. Well, I am at Andrea Empowers on all of my social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel, so it's only a couple videos up there, but I'm at Andrea Empowers. If you go to my website, just in case you need some direction on which classes might be best for you, you can go to my home website at andreaempowers.com. and it can give you some information, more information about which class may be best for you because it has both links on there, just in case you don't remember the URLs to the class.
Okay.
So AndreaEmpowers.com or Andrea Empowers on social media. Just send me a DM.
All right.
All
So
right. So
Andrea
Andrea
empowers
empowers
across the
across the
board.
board.
Yes, sir. Yes, Charles. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I want
So
to
I want
thank
to
you
thank you
for
for
being
being
on our
on our
show.
show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
This is
This
great.
was
Great.
fun. We got to
All
make
right.
a
All right.
routine out of this, Charles. This has been
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
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 All right. So
All right.
hold
So
on
hold
one
on
second.
one second.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
I'm gonna.
Yep. All right. So those who are watching live, thank you. We had an awesome guest. Straighten my camera out there. We had an awesome guest. And we're gonna have the information is going to be available in the description. So if you are watching the replay, we have her website and her information. So great show. Thank you again for tuning in. We have next week we're going to be talking to someone who has an Airbnb, and also there's a lady who has a beauty sculpting business. So we're going to talk about that. So every week we're bringing you difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. If you find value in what we're doing, please like and subscribe and support. My goal is to create a platform to highlight what's going on, bring you valuable information that will help you in your business and in your life. So, everyone, have a blessed night. Thank you for watching the program. See you next week.